Hello, fellow classmates. My name is Tashia Hendricks, and my presentation is over the community and law enforcement, a relationship built on trust and legitimacy. The first concept of police officers maintaining contact within the community was foot patrol. To be effective, law enforcement agencies needed to be in close proximity to the communities that they served. Police officers were assigned during their shifts, which were called watches, and by the areas they were serving. These areas, which are called beats, were generally small areas such as neighborhoods or additions of a city that police worked in and knew the residents by name and had trusting relationships, partially because the residents knew the police working their area and felt a sense of connection. In addition to foot patrol, mounted police and bicycle patrolling was also used to help control areas that were crowded. Police departments started using motorized patrolling by World War I, which had allowed expanded patrol beats but kept the officers confined in their cars, and this helped with the reduction of interactions that the community and police once shared. Community policing promotes accountability in police officers by establishing a strong foundation of transparency, interaction, and collaboration with the communities that they serve. By getting to know the community members, it forces police officers to pay more attention to how their actions affect the people that they serve. This will aid in reducing crime because residents will be more willing to cooperate with law enforcement officers and help assist with crime issues. Relationships between law enforcement and people of color has had an extensive history of issues regarding trust stemming from areas of slavery, Jim Crow laws, and during the Civil Rights Movement, just to name a few. Following the lack of visibility of police and the suffering of built relationships, social unrest of the 60s emerged, causing urban riots and an increase in crimes and multiple killings, which had society feeling like police officers were being forceful in situations. Police officers weren't able to control instances, which led to police brutality during civil rights disorders and caused society to view law enforcement to act in appropriate ways and circumstances. Police officers became a national discussion during the civil rights movement, causing people of color to distrust police and feel discriminated against from what they had seen or heard about what others had been through, excuse me, or had been done to individuals sharing the same color of skin as their own. Negative viewpoints were manifested because of this. The National Institute of Justice shares that there are important principles that society imposes their opinions about, first being legitimacy. Legitimacy is how society feels about law enforcement officers and their compliance to comprehend the authority of police. Another is lawfulness, which correlates that law enforcement officers comply with professional, constitutional, and legislative norms. Minority groups base their feelings off of these interactions that they've had with police, causing them to report that they are singled out because of their race, and it can also lead to skepticism and cause consequences that destabilizes the legitimacy of the police, which would ultimately reflect on how their authoritative role is effective when trying to combat criminal activities. Multiple researchers have investigated different avenues to make improvements to the actions of police to promote legitimacy, to help control crime, and to build trust within a society. In a meta-analysis research conducted by M.A. Boger et al., it was mentioned that police should make a concentrated effort to improve the services they provide to minority communities, and that there is a struggle within community relations throughout the United States. It also points out that the importance of adding citizen experiences of victimization and perceptions of police contacts key measures for evaluating the performance of the agency. Social media has corroborated that minority groups have felt by sharing injustice handed to the people of color at the sake of recording the instances as they happen. Since the recording emerged of Rodney King being brutally attacked by the LAPD in the early 90s, a lot of other injustices have been caught on camera and transmitted at a much faster pace because of how technology grows. Clochelle and Scovin, 2021, argue that actions that are made plain to the public that police acted inappropriately may seem counterintuitive as a strategy to restore trust. The difference in this case is that the system holds itself accountable and being proactive in making adjustments rather than the media or other platforms revealing instances in regard to police misconduct. It was also shared in their research that a strategy was offered by the President's Task Force on 21st Century Policing that law enforcement agencies should create a cultivation of accountability and transparency to construct legitimacy and police public trust. Closer relationships between the community and police can begin by police officers working in areas for long periods of time to become more familiar with their residents by engaging in activities, locating resources that aid the quality of the area that they serve, attending neighborhood meetings to discover concerns that the community addresses, and to also help find solutions with the help of the residents to accommodate their needs. They can form neighborhood watch groups similar to crime watch areas to reduce unwanted situations and identify potential problems in regards to disorder and crime. They can also work within the community to produce public safety and seek input on resolutions. CAPS, which is Chicago Alternative Policing Strategy, is an approach to foster building positive relationships and gain legitimacy within the society. Chicago has 25 police districts that are made up of between 9 and 15 beats that encompasses small police and community gatherings that can foster around 250 meetings in any given month. Other communities can build similar opportunities to help bridge the gap between police and community relationships, which would also promote legitimacy, and police will be able to allocate their job duties in reducing crime with the help of their communities. Procedural justice is the idea of justice in the manner of resolution of arguments and apportion of resources. Four core elements that pertain to procedural justice is participation, which relates to individuals sharing their input in the decision-making process. Dignity and respect is the element where people are satisfied with being able to express their side of their story. Trustworthy motives refers to when individuals trust that law enforcement agents are making fair decisions. And neutrality relates to people having their rights acknowledged. Law enforcement officers can also offer transparency by showing attention and interest within their community. There are multiple ways to improve police practices. Some found in the research I read was that making an impact on crime prevention techniques and building trust again within society focuses on legitimacy efforts of how police basically interacts with the people that they serve. It doesn't cost anything to be cordial when speaking to people and showing respect to lessen the fear of what has been installed in many individuals' thoughts about trust issues with the police. Having police more prevalent in the communities go back to the beginning when residents and police knew each other on a first name basis and trust was there. There are many different avenues to cross when building effective relationships, and having trust is a start in the right direction. To improve community policing, several requirements will need to be met in regards to training. In years to come, more relevant progression will also be needed with younger adults and young men of color due to elevated concerns about racial profiling stemming from current instances shared in the media. Unfortunately, not everyone is on board with building trust with the police, and law enforcement officers will need to continue to still treat everyone respectfully, regardless of how anyone interacts, so that there are effective ways to continue to build legitimacy and foster positive bonds within the community. And it also will help with lessening crimes in the future. And that is all that I have to share. Here are my references. And I hope you enjoyed my presentation.